Well, I thought I would join you all for a cup of tea or whatever your libation might be. It is that time of the day where we meet as a community for the Israel Brief. So, Israel Briefers from around the world, welcome to it. If you're new to this, I am Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you in partnership with these guys, Lay of the Land, where we take a look at the top stories making headlines in Israel. We do it every Monday to Thursday. Now, our question coming up in the question portion of the show is a very, very important one. And a reminder to you, if you want to ask a question, please pop it in the comments section below. So agrees the neighborhood dog. I'm telling you, he just wants to be a part of our community. And put those thinking caps on, because we are getting close to that time of the week when I reveal the mensch and the moron of the week. It is day 424 since the 7th of October in 2023, where we remember the atrocities committed against over 1,200 Israelis and foreign nationals by Hamas and the over 250 hostages who were taken into captivity. Hostages of all faiths, including Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Jews, and others from over 20 countries. 101 hostages remain held captive in Gaza. Also ask you to please pardon me. I have a slight case of the hiccups, and no matter what I've tried, including Magfos tablets, they don't seem to be doing the trick. But let's get into our top story, and we begin with some very, very strong words from President-elect Donald Trump saying, "Give back the hostages. By the time I take office on the 20th of January, all hell will pay." The statement from the president-elect follows the news yesterday that American-born hostage Omer Neutra was confirmed murdered by Hamas on the 7th of October, his body taken captive into the Gaza Strip. Now, Trump's sentiments were echoed by the incoming ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who basically said there needs to be some strong and decisive action. President Biden, in a statement from the White House, announced his devastation at the news of the death of Omer Neutra. Neutra was born in New Jersey and immigrated to Israel, where he served as a lone soldier in the IDF. His tank crew was attacked by Hamas terrorists, and at least 2 other of his crew were also murdered, their bodies taken captive, and one crew member, Nimrod Cohen, is believed to still be surviving. Hamas claimed that at least 33 hostages have been killed as a result of Israeli airstrikes. Now, of course, there is no way of confirming this, and we know that Hamas also plays psychological games with the families and with the Israeli public. Mandy Damari, the mother of Emily Damari, the UK's last remaining hostage, who was taken from her home in Kfar Aza on the 7th of October, who was shot, her little dog was shot in her arms. She was taken severely injured, spoke yesterday at a Labour Friends of Israel luncheon attended by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the Secretary of the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy. She addressed her disappointment that the United Kingdom did not agree to a ceasefire contingent on the release of the hostages. She said it breaks her heart that any ceasefire agreement that they agreed to did not involve as a point of priority the return of the hostages. Now, David Lammy took to X and tweeted a picture of himself with Emily Damari, and then followed that up, Mandy Damari, and followed that up with a tweet saying that more aid must go to UNRWA and into the Gaza Strip. I just have a word for you, Foreign Secretary Lammy. Our hostages are not your photo opportunity. It's not your opportunity to posture so that you can look good to Labour Friends of Israel. If you want to sincerely see the release of the hostages, listen to Mandy Damari, who all she's asking for is a humanitarian effort to ensure that hostages receive humanitarian aid, something that they have been denied for 424 days, and that they are released. Your gaslighting of her is abominable. Damari has also written to His Majesty King Charles. The United Kingdom have invited the leaders of Qatar for a state visit. The King will host them in a state dinner tonight, and Mrs. Damari has appealed to His Majesty the King to appeal to the Qataris to resume their position in hostage negotiations. Meanwhile, some more sad news, and Keith Siegel, another hostage also taken from Kfar Aza, who has been held captive for 424 days. His elderly mother passed away. Keith is 65 years old. His wife, Aviva, was released after 54 days, and it is absolutely heartbreaking that he cannot be at the grave of his mother and lay her to rest because he is still captive by Hamas. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar summoned the Australian ambassador to Israel, Ralph King, for a dressing down yesterday. This follows the decision by Canberra to deny a visa to Israel's former Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked last month. The foreign minister said that this contravenes the values of friendship and democracy, and that it is based on a blood libel perpetrated by pro-Palestinians. Now, Australia's stance towards Israel has changed remarkably under the Albanese Labour government. It is a matter of extreme insult to Israelis that the foreign minister, Penny Wong, when she visited Israel last year, did not visit the communities in the south of Israel, instead opted out of that. That was particularly painful, and Australia's trajectory to recognize a de facto Palestinian state is seen by Israel as rewarding terrorism. Meanwhile, in an address to Australian Zionist leaders yesterday, President Herzog cautioned against the rise of anti-Semitism in that country that has risen by sevenfold. Attacks against Jews have risen by sevenfold, and has cautioned the biggest problem facing diaspora communities today is the rise of anti-Semitism. And that didn't take long. Yesterday, Hezbollah fired 2 mortars towards Israeli Defense Force positions on Mount Dov. Israel responded by striking Hezbollah munitions factories in Lebanon. The IDF Chief of Staff said that Hezbollah will pay a decisive price for breaking the ceasefire. However, according to the White House National Security Chief John Kirby, he believes that the ceasefire, despite that infraction yesterday, is still holding firm. Israel Katz, Israel's defense minister, has warned Hezbollah against any other violations of the ceasefire, saying that Israel will respond extremely strongly. And finally, Canada has declared the Houthis, or Ansarallah as they are known in Islamic circles, as a terrorist organization. In a statement released, they said that Ansarallah meets the criminal code and will henceforth be declared a terrorist organization. Just a reminder that the Houthis, or Ansarallah as they are called, were responsible for firing a hypersonic missile towards the center of Israel where I live in the early hours of Sunday morning, setting off alarms and sending me and millions of others into our shelters. Now for that very important question, and it comes from Stephen with regards to yesterday's broadcast about UNRWA. He said, I thought UNRWA was banned from operating in Gaza. Well, Stephen, they aren't banned as yet. Israel does recognize that they do play a vital role, as small as it is, in distributing aid. And even though the legislation was passed banning them, and UNRWA does have to have the cooperation of Israeli authorities in order to work in the Palestinian territories, there is still a 90-day grace period in effect. And of course, that will come to an end and we will see how we resume from there. So I hope that answers your question. And just a reminder to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page at Lottle site, please check it out. I think we are being shadow banned by Facebook. We are right here on YouTube at the Israel Brief. If you like our content, please click that red subscribe button. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5. On Instagram at Rolene_Marks and on Instagram at Rolene_Marks and on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks. So many social media outlets, I can barely keep up. I'll have to have another sip of my tea. So guys, that's it for today. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.